Barbecue Central Radio Show will air live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Barbecue Central Radio Show will air live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Barbecue Central Radio Show will air live at 9 p.m.
This is Jennifer Palamas from Charlotte, North Carolina, and this is Barbecue Central.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening, and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday. Want to jump in? Get it on. Phone call 216-220-0966. You can email the show, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. You tell me. Either way, no how, whatever. Just lay back and listen to the fun and frivolity of the show. Worst case scenario, listen to the fun and frivolity of the show. All right, in case you didn't get the newsletter, here's what's happening on the show tonight. By the way, let me run back. If there's anything else you want to find out about the show, you can find it at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. Now, here's what's happening. Coming up for the balance of the show, in about 12 minutes from now, the first Tuesday of the month. I mean, man, can you believe it? Here we are in the beginnings of October. I said it in February, and you thought I was kidding. Indeed, I'm not. 2016 rapidly coming to a close with just a mere few months left on the docket before 2017 appears. The first Tuesday of every month brings a visit from the good barbecue doctor. You know, Ray Lampe. He's a barbecue Hall of Famer. 9:35, the Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour or Series or Tournament, however you want to term it. I don't like to put labels on things myself, but if you do, put your specific label to whatever the Sam's Club means to you. The president and CEO of MMA Creative and the creator of the World Food Championships, which is also on its way, Mike McCloud joins us. Then we move to the second hour. A lot of Sam's Club will be talked about because it's pretty big. It all ended this past weekend. Taking a sixth overall, we'll probably hit it in a cursory sense before we get on to some other barbecue topics. The pitmaster of Big Poppa Smokers, longtime sponsor of this show, and a guy who has no shortage of takes on anything related to the world of barbecue and grilling, especially the competition side. Sterling Ball will be joining us. And to close out the show, as I had mentioned at least two other times here in the last 5 seconds, the Sam's Club National Barbecue Series ended this past weekend. This team won it. Will be visited by none other than the pitmaster of Iowa's Smokey D's, Darren Warth. We'll recap it with Big D and see where this one stacks up. I mean, I think this is it. He's won everything now with the Sam's Club. Well, I mean, Memphis in May gets a little tricky, of course, just because. He has not won that. But everything else that we talk about when it comes to barbecue and grilling, he's won. So right, I got to make a small sound adjustment here real quick. Hold on one second. Oh. Hold on. Can't hear myself now. I got to plug in up here on the mixer. Otherwise, the electric noise that this thing is providing me is going to make me go... Oh, I can't use that. Uh-oh. Well, guess we're just going to have to suffer. Oh, well. All right, I can suffer through it. That's all right. It's only going to drive me up the wall. Why? Where's my color? Oh, man, what a pain in the ass. Yeah, so as I was saying, I don't know, holding the Memphis in May, I think Darren's won it all. American Royals, Jack Daniels, Kingsford Invitationals, now the Sam's Club National Series. Wow. He's won a lot. What's left to win? He's winning. Or won pretty much everything, at least in the sanctioning bodies that he's competing in on a regular basis. So there you go. Ray Lampe, Mike McCloud, Sterling Ball, Darren Warth, your lined-up guests for this evening. You, if you want to jump in, 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. The show is on. Send everybody where it counts. The main website, thebbqcentralshow.com for the audio, outdoorcookingchannel.com, longtime syndication video partner of the show. You can get it on Roku as well if you go to the App Store and look for Outdoor Cooking Channel. If they have it, go ahead and get it. You can stream it right from your high-screen or high-definition television, or high-screen definition television. It's a new phrase we're starting out here on the show this week. I was getting a lot of questions about when I was going to be leaking out the Doug Tratner and myself review of Woodstock Barbecue over on the west side of town. I have not released that yet, basically because I haven't actually gone in and edited the audio yet. There was some imperfections that I want to clean up. But that should be all set in like the next day or two, so look for that. The podcast for this show will be up at 11:55 this evening, as it is each and every Tuesday. You won't know. Well, so maybe what you've noticed is that I'm not wearing these this week. These that made my color look better. What the hell? I've gotten a new pair. Oh boy, they just fell right down. Of IEMs, inner ear monitors, and these were not gifted, by the way. These were purchased. 64 audio. These are the A3s. These are the Apex models. Look at, I mean, look like $1 million right now. What the hell happened? It's unbelievable. John, what the hell happened? Hold on. I think it registered the black on that box and it made the color go better. Wow. Anyway, so now, like if you, it's like a Ferrari. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up. I can just write it off as a work expense. Thank God. I would never buy them other. These are like the low end. Like they go all the way up to A12, which is like 12 drivers per side or 12 speakers in your ear. And I don't even know if you can see it. Like these are what the musicians wear on stage. I think there's 2 or 3 different companies that actually make this kind of stuff, but 64 Audio is well respected. Beyonce wearing the same inner ear monitors. Beyonce. You ever heard of Beyonce? She wears them. She probably wears A12s. But those are like $1,800. I'm not dropping $1,800 to listen to me talk. But I want to hear the imperfections, so I upgraded. They had to do the whole ear mold situation. I had to go to an audiologist. They pumped my ears full of this really wet, sticky stuff that casted my... And it, like, went all the way down. I had to bend twice. The guy told me, he's like, look, have you ever had this done before? I was like, no. He's like, yeah, well, it's going to hurt. And I was like, it's going to hurt? He said, yeah. I got to get through the second bend of the ear canal. He's like, that's like stuff that never happens. I was like, oh, okay, well... Needless to say, when he got past the first bend and he said, okay, it's going to hurt now, and then the next jab he made to make sure everything was in there, I was like, no! Get that big stuff out of here. My voice is better. So, 3 weeks after the fact. These just showed up last Thursday, and this is the first show, the inaugural show that the A3s are in the ears. And you can't even tell. This is even better than my in-ear monitor system that I had, like the news anchors wear. You put these things in with your MP3 player or whatever you use to listen to music privately. These things bring it like you name the great speakers of the day, the Sherwin Vegas, the Bose speakers, the Roxford Fosgates, the Alpines. These are Alpines for your ears, baby. Yeah. Hey, Butcher, what's up? So anyway, that's why, because I know some of you are always detailing out what am I wearing, what am I not. A lot of people have noticed that my hair's growing back. John called me a blue hair. I am not 78 years old.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Yep. Oh, my voice. Got it. I missed it. I'm trying to do a show here. I can't catch all of the zingers. Bazinga. All right, folks, let me talk to you quickly about the longest-running sponsor of the show, located in Warminster, Pennsylvania, the BBQ Guru. Gang, if you've been thinking about automatic pit temperature control devices, stop here. This is the company that created it all. They are the creators of this technology. Why are you going to buy it from anybody else? I don't know. If you're not familiar with how these little beauties work, I don't get into the minutia here, but imagine a product that allows you to set your pit temperature. And one set keeps it running at that temperature all the way through the cook. Sound too good to be true? It's not. It's real life. You can take advantage of this technology right today because, hey, maybe you're a busy working professional or perhaps you're constantly on the run with kids doing errands. Quite frankly, you just don't have the time to sit around and tend the pit temperatures. I get it. The Guru allows you to throw on a pork butt or a brisket or a couple slabs of ribs or all of that. You're off to do whatever it is you need to get done. Guru maintains that pit temperature you set it at. There are currently a number of different models to choose from, right? You have the Procom 4. You have the CyberQ Wi-Fi, which is huge. Huge. You can connect any of your smart devices to this thing, and it will monitor a number of internal temperatures of meat. It also monitors your pit temperature. You don't even have to get out of bed anymore to ramp it up or ramp it down. Once it hits the temperature you set, it turns into a holding type of a pattern as well. If you're in the market for a cooker, Onyx Oven still out there, still available, still doing successfully on the competition circuit and in backyards. Fully insulated, holds a ton of meat, accommodates the half and full pans for food service. Working seamlessly, of course, with any of the barbecue pit temperature control devices. Do yourself a favor, head on over to thebbqguru.com, check out their products. If you have any questions about what to order, please call them directly, 800-288-GURU. They'll make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. Again, that's 800-288-GURU, or visit thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru continues to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. All right, we're back with the good doctor, Ray Lampe, right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Hold on, I got to fix my color. Yeah, there we go. I did it. Kind of. Hey, This is where I usually tell you that the portion of this show is brought to you by the Sam's Club Barbecue Tour. That's wrapped up. It's done with another successful partnership with Sam's Club. So that's great. Stand by for this.
Have you got questions about barbecue or grilling, maybe as a hobby or even a business? Looking to get an expert's point of view? Why not ask Dr. Barbecue? You can submit your questions by clicking on the Ask Dr. Barbecue tab on the website. The doctor is in. Here's Ray Lampe with his nurse, Greg Rempe. Dr. Barbecue.
Just like that, Ray Lampe is with us, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Ray, what's up?
Hey, Greg.
How are you?
I'm well. How about yourself?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Ray. Always appreciate you making time for the show. So, a lot of Facebook questions popped up here over the course of the day, which we'll get to, of course. Before we do that, do a little housekeeping here and talk, I guess, most importantly, and while there was kind of like this unknown reveal at the Hartville Fair a couple weeks ago as far as your book being released, it is now officially out and shipping, and people are getting their hands on it, right?
Yeah, today was like the alleged day, but it always shows up a little early. So, yeah, we've had it at a couple events. I know it's shipping from Amazon. People started getting them today, and big launch at Eggtoberfest this weekend.
All right, so once again, if we can just circle back to the book just for a couple minutes, I guess we're both surprised that it's your first Big Green Egg cookbook over the time that you've been with the Big Green Egg. But when people get it, what can they expect from the effort?
Yeah, 13 years of working with them and 9 cookbooks, and finally I got around to writing a Big Green Egg book. The beginning is the story, how I started with Big Green Egg, how 13 years of what happens, It's been a wild ride. The company was pretty small when I started, and it's pretty big now. It's one of the things we all get to take the credit for it, but it's been fun. Forget that. It's been a lot of fun watching it grow, and it's the story's all in there. Nice pictures of me and Ed Fisher and Jody, the marketing girl, and it very, very means a lot to me. Very sentimental.
Ray, are you surprised that when the product came over, like in I forget what it was, 1974 or something along those lines, that it was going to grow into the Legion-esque or the cult-esque following that it has developed over the many decades?
Well, for me personally, I was not aware of Big Green Egg until I started hanging around on the internet. In the early days of the internet, I was the antichrist for Big Green Egg guys, because the Big Green Egg immediately, clicked on the internet with all the guys, the fanboy kind of stuff, and I couldn't believe that it was actually that good. So I really enjoyed making fun of them. But I got one and started cooking on it, and it's not BS, man. Anybody knows me knows if I didn't like that thing, I wouldn't be still trying to sell it 13 years later.
As far as the Hartville hardware trip that you took a couple weeks ago, I mean, we had promoted it for like 2 months leading up to it, and we had obviously taken in a dinner Wednesday night before the big event. But this was like my first time getting out to seeing a grilling event and demonstrations, and there were, Big Green Egg is a manufacturer, Traeger was a manufacturer, they had Weber representatives. I mean, it was a pretty well represented type of an event. So for a first timer like me, it seemed like, wow, this is way over the top. They got some big name guys in the industry. You've been around this stuff a billion times for many, many years. How does this one rank as opposed to some of the other ones that you've been to?
Well, nowadays it's kind of commonplace, but it's cool to go to an event like this because we dreamt of this happening, 15, 20 years ago. Only in our dreams did a big store like that devote that much space. How about that beautiful display they have? This whole giant room decked out, the grill's up on that rafter and everything. What a cool place. And then to have that big event and all the interaction, the people really came. When I was doing my demo, they said there was like 130 people in that tent. And then plus the cook-off going on the other side. Man, it's how does it rank with other ones? I don't know. It was a real good one. But I'm lucky to say I've been to quite a few that are that good, and it just really makes me feel good that stuff even exists.
So I guess this is the litmus test on how good of an event it was. Holding Big Green Egg aside, if they came to you and said, Ray, we would love to have you back next year, name the price. Is it something that you had enough fun at and got enough value out of that you would do it again?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I hope to go back next year. I'm planning on it, frankly. Yeah, nice people down there. I mean, it was really interesting place. I mean, a very I don't even know how to describe the neighborhood. You know, it really unique people, very very Christian people, very serious about things, and you know, not a bar in town, but yet they were happy. So it's kind of interesting to see. I really love that I get to go places like that. I think we talked about it before, joking about going to, you know, suburban Akron, but I love going to places like that. So yeah, man, I'd go back. But yeah, the event totally lived up to what it should have been. The cook-off was fun. I got to judge the cook-off. I love events like that because probably half the stuff was competition worthy, KCBS worthy. Another quarter of it was really good, but just interesting, not that worthy, not exactly competition stuff. And then a quarter of it was just, I don't know what them guys were thinking, but God bless them. It was fun, and if their family likes that, keep cooking it.
Yeah, I guess that was going to be my next question, was when you were one of the 5 judges that did the evaluation of the ribs, and I thought it was great, you know, from a competitor's standpoint. I mean, if you like Big Green Egg or you like pellet cookers, you didn't have to bring, for $30, you got 2 slabs of ribs, you got to pick a cooker, you had all this time to make one meat, and then turn it in and see what happens. I vented for a number of weeks on end about how all over the board the judging was. I had almost perfect scores from 2. I had as bad as you could possibly get from another 2, and then kind of a medium one. And such is the mania of competition barbecue, so I couldn't imagine doing that weekend in and weekend out and spending all that kind of money on it. But did you find yourself, because that's pretty eclectic judging panel's room there. I mean, you have yourself, maybe another guy that kind of know what they're doing in the competition side of things, but then you just had some kind of, you know, general, probably household, cultured chef palates for sure, but
right.
Maybe they don't know what, like, real barbecue was supposed to taste like. So what kind of conversations take place as you're judging? Does anybody talk about it while it's happening? Do you talk about after the entries? What happens in the judges' tent?
Yeah, we definitely talked about it. I mean, you know, there were no tight rules like that. So we definitely talked about it. I think everybody was respectful. Nobody was trying to coerce each other, but we definitely talked about it more than you would at a KCBS contest. You know, I always think, I happen to think everybody that knows what good barbecue is, what the heck does that mean? You know what I mean? I maybe you like it different than I do. That doesn't make you wrong. I hate that KCBS and all the sanctioning bodies have become this standard that we decided. And frankly, you want to talk about real barbecue, that KCBS chicken doesn't really qualify. I mean, Byron will fight you about that. He says it's not barbecue at all and it shouldn't be allowed. And I agree with him. So, you know what I mean? What is good barbecue? Is blues, you know, if it doesn't have blues on it, it's not good barbecue. I don't agree with that. I mean, I think that if it got cooked, now one guy apparently tried to boil his ribs or something, but other than that, everybody cooked their ribs the right way. If they want to put a whole bunch of chopped up bell peppers in there laying next to their rib, go for it. Who says that's not barbecue? It's not my thing, but yeah, you know, I like having different people judge.
Ray Lampe joining me here on the show for the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. His website, of course, drbbq.com. Pointing out, note of fact here, the guy that did win the ribs contest overall did use Blues Hog barbecue sauce, if you can believe it or not. So as I told him, you know, it's winning on the competition, so you just can't get away from it. Obviously, it's a staple that you need to have in your arsenal if you want to win. Nevertheless, any final thoughts on Hartville or the book before we get into the Facebook questions?
Well, I mean, it was fun to hang out with you. You know, we'll touch on that again. I haven't talked to you since we had dinner that night. It was a blast, man. I really enjoyed meeting you. And, yeah, salt of the earth people, I had a lot of fun. And Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was cool, too. So I had a really good trip to Cleveland. Cleveland doesn't suck as much as I thought. I would go there again. All
right. See, that's we're changing hearts and minds here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, one person at a time. All right, so let's go to the Facebook questions here, Ray. And the first one's from Steve Ray. And he wants me to ask you about grill stock in England. And I guess I don't know what his familiarity level is. So let's just say he's heard about it. So, thumbnail sketch out what Grill Stock is, maybe how it got started, and, how it was, just a month or two ago when you were there the last time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to talk about it. Grill Stock, an American barbecue contest within a British barbecue festival, I guess is how I'd describe it. I think it was the 6th year or 7th year or something this year. It's just a rocking good time. It's a barbecue festival with meat, mayhem, and music, they call it. So there's a big music element, a lot of vendors selling all kinds of crazy stuff. It's not like here where everybody sells the exact same thing at a rib fest. They sell all kinds of crazy stuff, and a lot of very heavily meat-oriented, a lot of beer, and then there's a barbecue contest, and the teams actively cook and give food to the people in between their turn-ins. Just a rocking good time. I can't wait to go back again next year.
And this is, competition-wise, something you've seen rapidly catch up to how the KCBS guys are turning in. They're kind of following suit along those lines, right?
Yeah, I always talk about and a picture surfaced recently of the chicken riding the motorcycle, a steel motorcycle that was made to hold this chicken. And that was what we saw the first year. Now the food looks identical to KCBS food. I mean, identical. Every single entry looks just like it, either parsley or kale boxes. And they're allowed to put whatever they want in the box as long as it's edible. Any garnish is acceptable. Nobody uses anything except lettuce and parsley and kale now. So yeah, it's been really interesting to see the evolution. It went from they didn't know what the heck was going on to now they're completely up to speed. And those guys, the good teams from over there, come over here now and are very competitive at the Royal and in the big contests.
Do you foresee a time? I know John and Jackie Waite pulled off the win 2004 at the
I think it was, yeah.
The Jack Daniels. Do you see like a European team coming and duplicating that at some point here sooner than later?
Oh yeah, I think so. They're totally up to speed. There's no secrets anymore. They're buying the same stuff that back then. Jackie she had to make sauce. Nowadays, yeah, everybody's buying the same thing. They got the same cookers. They know how to cook it. I absolutely do. I've judged the Jack. As a matter of fact, I'm judging the Jack again this year. I judged it a couple times recently, and the food is almost all identical. I know I say that a lot, but man, it's true. And so there's no reason it could come from anywhere. I think you'll see a European team win real soon.
Next question from Scotty Johnson, a fellow Chicagoan, as you are. Will Haywood ever cook again? I have no idea. It must be an inside joke, but will Haywood ever cook?
Matter of fact, I'm looking right up there. Is in 2000, I went to Wacoma, Iowa. And there's Sandy. Hi, Sandy.
Hey, there's Sandy, everybody. Hey.
I think we saw her boob.
Cameo.
Wacoma, Iowa. The Lynch Livestock folks used to have a cook-off there, and I had just gotten a new cooker. I got a pellet cooker. When I was getting ready to buy my concession trailer and move to Florida, I left my Jedmaster at home, brought this pellet cooker. It's like 1.5 times a Fast Eddie a guy made for me, with a Traeger firebox on the side. So I didn't really want to cook under my own name because I was afraid I was really going to not do very well and embarrass myself. So I signed up as Haywood Jablomi.
Oh my God.
And I got reserve grand that day, and Mike Lake was announcing the awards, and Mike kept trying to figure out a way to say it that wasn't Haywood Jablomi.
My Lord.
That was the only time I ever cooked as Haywood Jablomi and got reserve grand.
Was your sous chef Ben Dover?
Yeah,
right. We can come up with 1 million of them, no doubt. Yeah. Also, he wanted to know where you get your ideas and inspirations for cookbooks. I mean, obviously we know the story of the first one, but now that you have so many under your belt, I would imagine at some point you might be a little stale for ideas, or you get a little locked up in the brain about things to conceptualize or get down on paper. So how do you keep yourself from getting in that kind of pressure box?
I mean, I really think that's the talent, the gift. If I have something that makes me able to do it better than some other people, I think that's the gift. Being able to, I'm getting ready to start one now, and writing that outline. I will write down, it'll be about 80 recipes. I'll write down about 90 or 100 titles. And it's a maze. So you got to have the right amount of pork, the right amount of beef, the right amount of chicken, some vegetables, some stuff that's grilled hot, some spicy stuff. It's this whole puzzle that you put together. And I really think that's and you do it if you're not inspired by what you just wrote down, it's hard to go back and do all these recipes. I was telling somebody a story the other day. One that I did, one of my cookbooks, there's something called high octane sloppy joes. So I wrote that down in my original outline, not really having a clue what that was going to be. Just sounded cool. I knew I needed like a ground beef recipe in there. And then 6 months later, I went back. One morning, I woke up and said, I know what high octane sloppy joes is. But I truly believe there's a lot of people that I could give them that list and you could create good recipes. I think just putting that puzzle together and the creativity, because you got to be careful too. This will be cookbook number 10, not to do the same recipes over and over. We all have our tendencies of things that we like. When I reach for herbs, I like thyme, but I can't just use thyme every time I want to use some herbs. I have to use herbs that may not be my personal favorite, but I know people like them. Salmon is a good example. I don't really like salmon hardly at all, but I know that people do. So you always got to put a salmon or two recipe in there for grilling and barbecuing, but they can't all be the same. You got to come up with some new idea. So it's a challenge, but I think that's why not everybody can do it.
Doug Scheiding is asking what you're looking to get out of the restaurant venture. Money, staying connected with barbecue public, something to do, next phase in a career, perhaps. What's the win or wins for Dr. Barbecue getting into this venture?
Well, I think I'm still pretty connected to barbecue, and you never have enough money, so that one is a yes and a no. I don't know. It just was an opportunity. I've lived my life kind of by the seat of my pants. Whatever. Luckily, enough interesting things have come across my desk in my life, and I've been able to make enough of those work to make a living. So this just happened. I wasn't really looking for it, but I do think there's room for a nice barbecue restaurant here. I think the folks that I'm partnering with really know how to run a nice restaurant. I think they're very respectful to what I bring to the table. And it's going to be fun, man. We're going to have a place. It's 10 minutes from my house. It's going to be a nice place for me to go hang out. And I'll have an office there. It just came across the table and was a great opportunity. So, I hope to make some money on it. I hope it becomes successful. I hope it's the best, becomes on all them lists of best barbecue restaurants. Yeah, I hope all that. But there's no great motivation. It's not that well thought out or planned out. By the way, it was nice to hang out with Doug in Cleveland there.
Yeah,
Akron,
that was great to meet Doug as well. As my first time, too, meeting him in person. Do you think, if everything goes well with the restaurant, are they open, or have you guys talked about having more of, whatever the name of the restaurant is going to be around that Tampa Bay area?
It's going to be called Dr. Barbecues. Yeah, absolutely. We don't know. It's not guaranteed, but we're certainly open to it. We got to get one open first, but we're certainly open to it.
So what's the status update on restaurants right now?
We're just working on all kinds of stuff. We bought a barbecue pit. We're buying some equipment, but we don't get the building till January 1st. So really only so much we can do right now. We did a pop-up though. We did a Uber Eats pop-up. I cooked a bunch of barbecue, and one of the restaurants from the family does not serve lunch. So we used their kitchen, and we did only via Uber Eats. I don't know where all Uber Eats is these days, but in Tampa, it's becoming a big deal. So you could have basically a virtual restaurant. No one could buy it. We had one thing, a pork sandwich with a Kool-Aid pickle, some bacon and blue cheese slaw, a little bottle of barbecue sauce, and 2 cookies for $5. Not a big money maker for us. It was just for fun. We got the labeled up bottle of barbecue sauce, and we had a lot of fun with it. And we sold like 200 in like an hour. It was, it's what we expected to do. It's what we wanted to do. And it was just for fun, really. So, we're promoting it. We're having some fun with it, but we got a long way to go.
Kool-Aid pickle?
Yeah, you never had a Kool-Aid pickle?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing. A lot of barbecue joints serve them. You just include Kool-Aid out of the package in your pickling mixture as sort of the sour, a nice sour element, or sugar if you're using the sweetened Kool-Aid, and they turn this bizarro pink or green or purple. We said we had these pink ones. They were very cool.
Wow, news to me. All right, Ray Lampe joins me here each month, the first Tuesday of each month. This is the October version. Next month is going to be November, and then we're almost done with 2016, if you can believe it or not. Ray, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on.
Anytime, Greg. Talk to you soon.
You got it. There he is, Ray Lampe. Dr. Barbecue. When is a restaurant going to be open, for crying out? Let's go. A road trip to Florida, everybody. Got to do it, right? Everybody's got to get there. Tampa, St. Pete, one of those. Let me fix the color again. There it is. There it is. Fixed it. I got to keep this black box around. I just thought black boxes were good for, like, aircraft. Cook Shack manufactures smoker ovens for barbecue lovers with any amount of experience. Whether you barbecue in your backyard, on the competition circuit, in a 5-star dining facility, Cook Shack has the unit that will do the job, and with a full line of barbecue sauces, spices, pellets, and wood chunks, it's the perfect one-stop shop. Cook Shack strives to be your barbecue resource center by offering cooking classes, online recipes, how-to videos, 2 blogs, smoke and grilling 101s, and a video cooking classroom. Check out their website at cookshack.com or follow them on Instagrams, Facebooks, YouTubes, the Twitter, Pinterest, the Google+. Get advice or share your passion for barbecue on their world-class barbecue forum. They still have a forum. Cook Shack pellet-fired smokers are the choice of champions because they were designed by a champion, Ed Fest Eddie Martin. The FEC 100 and PG 1000 are always customer favorites. The PG 1000 can double as a smoker and a grill. Low and slow or hot and fast, the pellet grill line gives you the most for your money. Cook Shack residential electric smokers are the #1 smoker in the industry. High quality means high durability and versatility. Bottom line, anything you can cook in your oven inside, you can make in a Cook Shack outside. Plus, tremendous jerky cook. Really. Passion and dedication drives Cook Shack's manufacturing, with quality always being at the forefront. Get the best in barbecue since 1962. Call them at 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698, or visit their website at cookshack.com. That's cookshack.com. All right, Mike McCloud hitting the Sam's recap, looking ahead to the World Food Championships. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Lampe.
All right, this portion of the show being brought to you by Green Mountain Grills, manufacturers of some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. If you're looking for a cooker to house a lot of food, they got one for you. Medium size, they can carry you there. Small for tailgates and camping trips, they got you. They can also supply pellets as well to fire those cookers. Check them out at greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. I love my Green Mountain Grill. You can love yours as well if you just visit the website. Again, greenmountaingrills.com. All right, the Sam's Club Series just finished up this past weekend in Bentonville, Arkansas, and the World Food Championships is bearing down upon us. Taking place November 9th through the 15th this year in Orange Beach, Alabama. Here to recap Sam's. Also hype up the WFC as the president and CEO of MMA Creative and the creator of the World Food Championships. We race to the hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Mike McCloud. Mike, how are you, buddy?
I'm great, Greg. How are you doing?
Absolutely fabulous, Mike. Appreciate you making time for the show, as always. And a couple different places we can run to this evening. It always seems like we're either talking about Sam's Club or World Food Championships with you for good reason. So let's go ahead and start with the Sam's Club. This past weekend, the series wraps up with a national title, and we crown Iowa's Smokey D's getting their first national championship in 6 efforts. Hard not to pull for these guys, right? I mean, they just seem to kind of do it year in and year out in the right way.
They did a great job, and I was very happy for them, as many people were. They've certainly put in the time and the effort, and are well-deserving. They're grand champions in many respects through many contests, and this one had eluded them for 5 years, and they were the only team that had been there for 6 years in a row. And so what a deserving title and a perfect time for them to ascend to the top. I got to talk to Darren before awards were announced, and I had not seen the results yet, and we just asked him how he felt about it, and he felt pretty good. And as all barbecuers say, I did okay for the day. They don't want to jinx themselves, but he confessed that pork was his weakness, and he said he really had been struggling with pork, and he told me he did something different that day. And about 30 minutes later, I was in the judging room, and I just took a sneak peek at the results, and I saw that he had done well in pork, so I knew he was going to be delighted that day, and sure enough, he was. Well deserved.
Mike McCloud joining me here on the show, MMA Creative, Sam's Club, and World Food Championships. Mike, when you look at the scores, 1 through 10, but 1 through 6 were huge. Maybe this was the best year of competition we've seen on Sam's to date, no?
I think it just keeps getting bigger and better. The competition continues to get stronger. Our judging process, by bringing in master judges from all the regions and using them in a scattered, random format, is proving to be very successful and well received. So yes, I think this is by far, in my opinion, the best year yet. We had a great season. We rolled right through it. There were very few breaks, so I need to put some kudos out there for Michael McDermott and for Chris and for Toy and for C.J. Clark and Lisa Glover and Karen Murphy, all the people involved behind the scenes and in front of the house to get this done. They've done a phenomenal job. And, of course, Sam's Club. I mean, their club managers, the headquarters, the entire organization is really getting behind it, and I think the teams feel it. They see it. It's hard to ignore almost $3 million in prize purse money going to teams in 6 years, to understand how significant this is, not only for the industry, but for the teams and for the sponsors who are all involved. So I think it was a fitting, very incredible moment, and I was delighted to see all the teams do so well. I think we had 5 or 6 teams that got a 700. We had 2 perfect 180s. So yeah, it was great competition.
Mike, from a business perspective on Sam's side, and I don't know if I'm asking you to speculate or at least relay what they've told you in conversations, like what's their biggest win in partnering with KCBS to put on the Sam's Club each year?
I think their biggest win is based on education and based on quality products. They from day one, when we started conversations with the leadership at Sam's, they were aligned with our mission to educate people on how to become better grillers and better barbecuers, because they want to educate their members on how to be more involved in the kitchen and even in the outdoor kitchen. So for them, obviously, as a retailer, the more people are cooking and the more products they're buying, the better it is for them. So the more they can educate and the more we can help them educate people on how to be better behind that grill or behind that smoker, it leads to that rising tide scenario. That's not only good for KCBS, good for the teams as they perform, but good for Sam's Club members. So education, quality products, and they're always focusing on the quality of their products. I think sometimes big box companies get an unfair bad rap on quality because they're just focusing on quantity in some people's minds, but they're really focused on their fresh products. And every time we roll into town, the barbecue tour raises that level of attention that they want to see, and I think they see the numbers and they are very pleased with how the barbecue industry has welcomed them and made them really one of the key members of the family.
Mike, has Sam shared with you that once they started that partnership now 6 years ago, that they can go back through benchmarks and say, yeah, since the inception of this partnership, we've seen an increase in store receipts or store sales or annualized revenues from when they weren't doing this partnership?
Anecdotally, yes. They don't. We don't ask them to peel back the onion too much, but we know that their fresh sales at the stores where we show up always show a spike, and it's because the teams are there to support and get product from the clubs. If we could throw, I think they've got 650, 700 clubs. If we could throw 650, 700 barbecue contests in a year, they'd probably welcome that. But it's just not physically possible. But they do share. I have heard several times that they see numbers lift, they see an impact, and I shared with them and the sponsors this past week how many pounds of pork and brisket and ribs, racks of ribs were cooked throughout just this tournament, and it was astounding. I misquote this, but one of them was like 30,000 pounds of pork. Wow. I don't have it in front of me. So when you look at that amount of product being cooked, and it's got to be purchased somewhere. So that's good for partners like Sam's Club.
Mike McCloud joining me here on the show, talking about the end of the Sam's Club series this past weekend. Mike, from Michael McDearman's mouth a few different times in post-show interviews in Bentonville, and then again on Chad Ward's show a couple hours ago before mine, he had mentioned that the Sam's Club Tour will again take place in 2017. I know in years past when I've asked you, you even haven't been able to fully commit to that here on this show. Is that something that you can confirm that Michael had said is the case, or was he a little premature?
No, he heard it when all of us heard it. We at the welcome reception, Bob Fields and the Sam's team announced that there will be a seventh year, and we continue to move forward. I honestly think that they would commit to many more years if they could, but I think there's I think basically the way their policies work, they can't. It's hard for them to do that. It just doesn't fit their model. But they're committed to next year, and we're already starting the plans. We're already looking at schedules, how to kick it off, how to end it, how to make it better. So we're already in planning mode right now.
Is 2017 the year you take my greatest idea of all time and do the very first cook-off of the year, guaranteeing you the golden ticket to the finals right off the bat?
I'll take that into consideration. That is a good idea.
That's not a yes, Mike. That's not a yes.
Well, it's political season, so you can't always give a direct answer.
Well, this season, you might as well tell me to fuck off and call me like a gay slur term for all. I mean, we're throwing caution to the wind this year. What are you talking about? All right, so Sam's Club as a bow. Anything else from the 2016 season that you want to mention before we move on to the World Food Championships?
I just want to thank all the teams and all the judges who came out to participate. I think it was the best year yet, and I do think that they are as interested as I am in making sure that next year is even better. So stay tuned. We'll be, as soon as we can get logistics and planning stuff squared away, we will be announcing 2017, and we've got a few surprises up our sleeve for 2017 that we already know about, but I probably don't need to go public with those yet. So, but thanks to everyone who participated. It was a great year, and we're already excited about next year.
In just over a month's time, November 9th through the 15th, World Food Championships takes place. Obviously, the week-long brainchild of Mike McCloud that has now gained a tremendous amount of steam. People are looking to qualify in any way they can possibly do it. It was originally in Las Vegas. It moved to Kissimmee last year and now is relocated to Orange Beach, Alabama. Am I completely behind the times on that and not knowing that it was moving out of Kissimmee, Mike?
Yeah, we were going to try to be in Florida for several years, but logistically it just didn't work out. And we had numerous talks about it, and I think you and I talked about the move back in earlier February, March. But that's a long time ago, so I'm not going to hold my memory against your memory. But we are in Orange Beach, Alabama. We have signed a multi-year deal to be at the Wharf in Orange Beach. So we're going to be there for at least 3 years, and we've got an option to renew for 2 more. So we think we have found a home. The logistics, the operations, the footprint that we have more space, more support, more latitude on what we can do, and we can put it all together, which has been one of our objectives from day one, to be able to have our barbecue teams pretty much surrounding the rest of the event. So we're excited about that, and we are really seeing a lot of good momentum right now. There's 428 teams that got qualified before our October 1st deadline, and they're from 14 countries and 47 states. So we continue to up those numbers.
As you're building into the final weeks of preparation before it all kicks off on November 9th, Mike, what are you looking forward to the most? Things that you really need to pin down before, logistically you feel 100% comfortable? Is that something that, even after the many years you've been doing it now, you're still kind of riding the edge of the things going on?
I'm looking forward most to vacation, which is
that's after.
Tomorrow we are in full operation logistics planning modes right now. That's why we've begun the process of cutting registration off October 1st. When we announced that last year, people thought we were kidding, and our numbers were down a little bit last year as a result. But Florida was an expensive state to pull this thing off, and I think that had an impact. But we went from 341 teams last year to 428 this year. People are getting it. We're cutting off the registration process because we need a full month to plan the operations, the logistics, the entertainment, the demonstrations, the sponsor support, the ingress, egress process of everything. So we're doing a full company meeting tomorrow, for example, and it's all about operations. And we'll do another 2 or 3 days if necessary if we can't get through it tomorrow. But all eyes, all ears at our company are somewhat touching this event, and some of them are knee deep into it, and some of us are head first into it to try to make sure that the biggest event in food sport has its best year as we head into our 5th anniversary. So every day, wake up and just try to think of a better way to deliver it, to promote it, and to make it rewarding for all the people involved.
How public friendly is the World Food Championships? Can people go down and watch everything happen pretty openly? Or are there some things that are kind of blocked off? How would a spectator take it in?
This is the most open event in America other than a Sam's Club barbecue contest. We do not charge a fee to get in. It's free admission. You can see food TV celebrities up close in person. You don't have to get tickets. You get to see them competing. Every one of the competitions in the outdoor kitchen arena are going to be open and live. So we make all of that very accessible. All you have to do is show up, find a parking spot, and come out and see some really passionate cooks and barbecue teams go at it. The other thing that we've done is we've built out our World Food Fest program. We have about 30 official demonstrations on our showcase showdown. We have a massive tasting village this year that has local and global companies involved. We have some fun mobile trucks and even a big tailgate surprise that we're going to announce in the next 2 or 3 days that people are really going to get excited about. So a lot of things to see, a lot of things to do. We do have ticketed VIP events. In fact, we're doing one with Operation Barbecue Relief, which I hope a lot of people will participate in. A Low Country Boil. Jay Ducati is going to be involved in that with Stan and them. And then we've got a Bourbon Q fundraiser, which is going to benefit some veterans organizations. It's on Veterans Day, November 11th, at a beautiful little antebellum type home right on the inlet there. So a lot of fun things, from zero cost to $100 VIP ticket. It's easy to get into, out of, and enjoy food sport like nowhere else in the nation.
Is Fetty Wap going to be performing live at the World Food Championships, Mike?
How did you know?
I knew it! Oh, my daughters are going to be so disappointed. Mike McCloud.
I thought I plugged all the leaks.
Yeah, well, see, I mean, that's why you're on the really big show, Mike. You never know. Mike McCloud getting ready to get headlong into World Food Championships November 9th through the 15th this year, Orange Beach, Alabama. And, of course, the successful 2016 Sam's Club romp that we experienced over the last handful of months, which is always fun. And, Mike, obviously from a show perspective, I certainly appreciate the support that Sam's gives this show, and hopefully they're seeing value there as well. Always appreciate the time and the partnership, and look forward to do it again soon as the World Food Championships wrap up.
Same here. Invite you and your listeners to come down and enjoy the event with us. Keep up the good work that you're doing, Greg. Your voice means a lot to the barbecue industry, and we all appreciate it very much.
All right, Mike, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
There he is, Mike McCloud, ladies and gentlemen. World Food Championships, right? Who's going? Does somebody have the archives of, like, when Mike was on the show last time? I think we were, just kind of a few regional or few local Sam's Club events in. I think we started back up in March this year or something like that. Man, oh man. All right, hold on. Where did it go? I don't know. All right. Folks, the 2015 and 2016 best barbecue tool of those 2 years, the Chops Power Injector System. Let me break it down in case you don't know about this stuff. The number one selling Chops Power Injector System is the half-gallon size. Easy to use. Clean it, fill it, pump it, and go. If you have just one brisket or a pork shoulder to do, you don't need to fill it all the way up. I don't. Put in what you need. It uses it all. Relax. It comes with 14-gauge needles, 2 replacement plastic needle adapters, 3 plug screws, and a needle protector. $100 plus shipping anywhere. The 1-gallon Chops Power Injector System, designed for catering and bigger jobs. It holds double the amount of the injection of the half-gallon system. Some use it in competition, like when you are cooking MBN whole hog, or 10 shoulders to get that perfect one. It comes with 14-gauge needles, 2 replacement plastic needle adapters, 3 plug screws, and a needle protector. $120 plus shipping anywhere. And then, of course, the newest one, the Chops Full Power Injector System. It is the electric and commercial competition Big Daddy. It's not a holding tank. It's a 3.5-foot pickup tube that you can put in any size container, from a few ounces to a 55-gallon drum. It was designed for Chef Rob at the best barbecue restaurant in Kansas City. He said time and time again that with the Chops Full Power Injector System, his briskets are better than ever. It comes with a metal needle adapter, 14-gauge needles, 3-inch 12-gauge needles, 2-inch 11.5-gauge needles, 3 plug screws, and a needle protector. $325 plus shipping anywhere. A number of the top pit masters in the world are using the Chops Power Injector System every day to make their barbecue better than the rest. Here's the thing. We live in a foodie world that now requires flavor in every bite. This is how you do it, and do it fast. It's not just for meat either. How about an alcohol-infused watermelon or cantaloupe? Every injector hand-assembled in Kansas City, Missouri, USA. You want the accessories, they got them. You want to shoot medium ground spices, they can help you out with that. They sell replacement stock needle adapters and plug screws, for crying out loud. And they are building a barbecue restaurant that a couple weeks ago caught on fire. So if you have any extra change to spare, go to the Chops barbecue website or go to Dan Uladal's Facebook page and help out where you can. This is a good guy, a longtime sponsor of this show. So if you're looking to help out somebody in need, this is a guy that needs it. He's not asking me to ask for help. I'm just asking on his behalf. You like the show, you like his product, go help him out. Dan Uladal, Chops Power Injector System. All right, let's wrap it up. Stick around.
big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right. We are back. That was Mike McCloud before me coming back on. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. We are going to round up for the second hour. Big one planned for you, so stick around. I'm going to get a new batch of water. Get whatever you're drinking. You alcoholic? You light like me? You got Pepsi Cola? Refresh. You'll thank me later. Stick around. I'll be right back.
This is Maddie Lampe from Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to BBQ Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
Oh, listen, Libertius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, we're back in the second hour, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's right. Welcome back. You found the Barbecue Central Show. This is a show, I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. We talk about what's happening in the world of barbecue and grilling. There's all sorts of things going on. Wow. Come on. Got to play around my 64 audio IEMs. That's inner ear monitors. Look at me. We broadcast this show, and by we I mean me, broadcast this show live from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. You can get this show on my website, thebbqcentralshow.com. You can also get the video at outdoorcookingchannel.com. You can also go to Roku. You can go to iTunes Radio. You can go to tunein.com, Stitcher. We're broadcasting live on the Facebooks as well. I have to say that the single biggest improvement in the get out of this show, and I don't want to say it, but I cannot tell a lie, my friends. The single biggest help out on this show as far as face is Facebook. It is undoubted. It's undoubtedly the single biggest upgrade, advantage, whatever you want to say, and getting this show in front of more people is the Facebooks. Because I think, I tell people all the time, oh, I forgot you had your show last night. But as soon as I hit the Facebook Live button, it gets thrown up into the feeds. And really, that's what it's all about. That people remember now. Oh, hey, good reminder. I'm going to go check Rippy out. That's great. Oh, look at that. He looks all professional. Now, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I said it to somebody earlier today. Take note. Just because there's a Facebook Live button doesn't mean everybody has to hit the Facebook Live button. You don't have to. As a matter of fact, do the old problem-solving scenario. If you're about ready to hit the Facebook Live button, think to yourself for 5 seconds. Is this going to benefit anybody? Am I ready to bring across whatever my live event is in a way that people are going to want to see it? Or is it just going to be a friggin' nightmare? I guarantee 99% of the time, it's a nightmare. I watch them. People don't know how to talk. People have no outline. People have no direction that they're about to follow for their live event. They just hit live and let life happen. And while that sounds all great, it makes for really bad watching. People tune in, people tune out. I hit Facebook Live. You get a very sexy fake wood background, big professional microphone, very expensive inner ear monitors, West Coast offense shirt rep, all that stuff. But, I mean, just because you can, and look, I get it, right? That's one of my sayings. Why does anybody do anything? Because they can. But really, in this instance, just because you can doesn't mean you're going to be the one that should be doing it. Leave the live stuff to the professionals, like me. Leave the live to me. I'll take care of that. All right, still to come on the show tonight, Sterling Ball of Big Poppa Smokers in about 10 minutes. Darren Warth from Iowa's Smokey D's in about 30 minutes. The Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour rolled into Bentonville, Arkansas this past weekend to close out the 2016 season. This was the national final event, seeing the top 50 teams that qualified go head-to-head and get a champion crowned. The team walking away with the 50, not 15, 1550, the $50,000 check, and more importantly, the bragging rights, at least until next season starts. Darren and Sherry Warth, Iowa's Smokey D's. Their score, 711.97. 7-2. Or, as I say it, because in me and math, we always round up, 712. Somebody in the chat room has to be a statistical genius because it's not me this evening. Is 712 the highest score that has been achieved in the 2016 competition? See, 712. 712? By the way, if you're counting, and almost repeat champion, and I guess I use almost loosely, but he finished second, and he's already won it once. He was on the show a couple weeks ago, Justin McCloud, Lucky's Q. Point of note, Justin's score, 703.3. What? I can tell you this. Justin's score, while only good enough for second place, 703. At the Sam's Club, would have won every other KCBS contest this past week. Yeah, every other one. Every other one. J-Star Barbecue was third with a 701.6, or as I call it, a 702. Also, good enough to win any other contest this past weekend. Number 4, Q'in, Stewin, and Brewin, 700.5, or as I say, 701. I think either good enough to win all the other competitions this weekend, or all of them but one. 5th place, Sauced Barbecue Team with a 700.5, similar scenario. 6th place, Big Poppa Smokers, Sterling Ball, who we'll have on next segment. Just for point of reference, his score, good enough to win all of the competitions this past weekend except 2. And he got 6th place. Wow. 1 through 5, 700 plus. Number 1, 710 plus. Wow. That is some huge scoring right there. 1 through 6, pretty much 700 right there. 700 or better. Who's scoring 700? Who's got a championship or who's got a contest that has 1 through 6, almost 700? 7th place, 1-2 Barbecue with a 698. 8th place, Slaughterhouse 5 with a 698.24. 1-2 Barbecue had 698.26. Hickory and Spice Barbecue with a 697.09. And Wolf's Revenge Barbecue with a 697.07. Wow. 14 points separate 1 through 10. And just for point of reference, Darren was roughly 8 points, almost 9 points ahead of Justin McCloud at Lucky's Q. But the 2 through 10 was only separated by about 5 points. Really close. Really close. That's so impressive. I can't believe it. As Mike McCloud said just this past segment, the 2017 Sam's Club locked, loaded, ready to go next year. You have October off, you have November off, you have December off, you have January, February. We're going to get to rolling. Get ready. Sam's Club 2017, bigger and better than ever. Some surprises in store. All right, now I didn't show this the way I should have last week, but it's too good not to share with you guys. Oh, I don't want to do that. Sweet Mike. See, this is what I get. That's what I get. We go to a open spot. Here we go. This is the pepper eating girls, right? Man, oh man. Tonight we struggle, my friends. Here we go.
These are the world's hottest peppers.
Look at her. What's wrong with you?
It's still burning? Mm-hmm. She's just sitting here drooling.
Wow.
Lay back.
Holy shit.
Lay back.
Are you okay?
No.
No, she's not okay.
Idea. Holy hell.
Just in case this ever sounds like a good idea.
Damn. I didn't think it hurt that bad.
This is not good. This is not fucking good.
You okay?
Oh, she's crying.
You feeling any better?
There you go. There you go. How could I let that one go last week when Scott Roberts was on? That thing is spectacular. I can watch that. Oh, they just had like one plastic bottle of water ready. Forget having the milk ready. You needed to have about 6 cows spewing from the udders. I would have eaten sour cream by the pound, just caked it all up in my face. Maybe they wouldn't have been in so much pain if they would have had a pit barrel cooker. That's right, gang. Pulling the trigger on a new cooker can be nerve-wracking sometimes. Temperature control, fire management, what woods to buy. Who needs the hassle? Not me. But I strongly suggest the pit barrel cooker. That's right, the pit barrel makes cooking simple and fun, and it just might be the most unique, versatile, and easy-to-use cooker available on the market today. Imagine a single cooker that turns out great traditional meats like brisket, pork shoulders, and ribs, while also being able to ramp up in temp to do burgers, chicken wings, and hot dogs. Versatility, all thanks to the revolutionary design that goes beyond traditional convection. Their hook and hang method places the food in the center of the heat, so it's actually acting as a stationary rotisserie. The results, perfectly cooked meat each and every time. Easy to do. Not only is the pit barrel a fabulous cooking vessel, it's aesthetically sexy as well. It withstands the heat. Its porcelain enamel finish also makes it weather resistant. The PVC is able to stand up to any type of weather. It's also extremely portable. It goes with you wherever you can go and fits in the back of most vans, trucks, and SUVs. Of course, all barbecue folks love accessories, and the pit barrel doesn't disappoint here either. From rubs to the unique removable ash pans, the pit grip, turkey hangers, the hinged grill grates. There's a full line of accessories that will really complete your pit barrel cooker experience. Best part, $2.99, right? Comes fully assembled, ready to cook, and it ships right to your door for free. PitBarrelCooker.com. That's PitBarrelCooker.com. 502-228-1222. Let me show you the new rubs. I debuted them last week. Same flavors, different packaging. Now you got the 5-ounce bags right here in the front. You got the 2.5-pound bags in the back. Does not allow any light to get in, so you're going to be able to retain the freshness longer. Easy to stack, easy to store, especially if you got a storefront. You want to have those jars and shakers taking up kind of that unused space. This stuff hangs easily, also can stack easily, really maximizing the space, right? Everybody loving the pit barrel cooker, especially the folks at AmazingRibs.com. They're saying, you see it right there, pit barrel cooker is a phenomenal cooker. One of the best, getting their highest ratings each and every time. 3 times, by the way. PitBarrelCooker.com. That's PitBarrelCooker.com. And again, the 5-ounce and the 2.5-pound rub bags. You're going to love it. PitBarrelCooker.com. We're back with Sterling Ball right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Lampe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by CookinPellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets to fire all of your pellet-driven cookers. You can visit CookinPellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also do it through Amazon.com. Also, Cookin' Pellets has that free app. Download it, and it will alert you when the very best shipping deals are taking place, either through Cookin' Pellets or Amazon.com. Longtime partner of this show. We're going to be having Chris Becker back on the show here in a few weeks, I believe. We're still trying to hammer out the logistics of getting him back on. That's CookinPellets.com. My first guest tonight in the second hour, having an incredible competition season. This past weekend took 6 overall at Sam's Club National Finals in Bentonville, Arkansas. Later this year, we'll be hosting the ever-popular King of the Smoker competition. Let's head to the hotline and welcome back trusted sponsor of the show and friend, pitmaster of Big Poppa Smokers, Sterling Ball, joining me here on the show. Hey, Sterling.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, my friend, and always appreciate you making time for the show. And we got a couple different places here we can talk about this evening, not the least of which, of course, is your back from Bentonville, Arkansas. And really, Sterling, when you take a look at it, and you're a guy who really loves figures and the minutia and the data, could this have been one of the highest overall scoring competitions, at least 1 through 10, that you've seen in recent memory?
Well, it was awesome. But first off, Sam's Club really does a great thing for barbecue. Michael McDermott does a great job. And they snaked the Royals Old Week, so the weather was perfect. And to watch Darren get a 7-Eleven, and WCO and Elite had a great week, 1, 2, 3, and it was just awesome. And you know what? I've watched Darren win a couple of majors now. Darren and Sherry, I run out of great things to say about them. And you know what? A lot of people don't know is how helpful he is to everybody. And like when you need picking up, like for example, this week he told me that I was ugly and he was fat and he could diet. And those are those kind of supportive things. that they're welcoming, they're kind, they're sharing. It couldn't have been greater to watch that.
When I've had Darren on the show, he's actually going to be following you here in the 1035 segment. He always kind of
opening up. Wait,
yeah.
Greg, I'm opening up for like the Stones.
See, look at you. You're getting there, my friend. He always seems to be going about it with a cool, calm. Like I've been here, and there doesn't seem to be any stage that's too big for Iowa Smokey D's at this point.
No, I think he's really somebody that you kind of, and I gotta keep talking about Shirley because she's such a big part of that team. But look, he helped me a lot, seriously. I used to agonize over scoring. I used to agonize over sheets, and he said, look, it's top tens. Forget about that other stuff. Just try and be as consistent as you can. And that has been very, very helpful to us.
Sterling, your score, believe it or not, aside from 2 other competitions this weekend, if you would have went to them, you would have won. But it's good enough for 6th place, which I think just is a testament to the quality of what the hell is going on back there. I think it's just a testament to the quality of the cook, right?
I think there were some really good teams and some really, really pretty good judging. I think it was a great contest. And, who knows if, you're not going to get the same score in different regions. I was really happy. I mean, I lost 2 tiebreakers. I ended up 4th in chicken, but actually James was 1 notch away from 180 because there were 2 180s there. And then I tied for 1st in ribs and lost the card off. But other than that, it was really, I couldn't be happier. I mean, this is a great season for me. I mean, it's, I don't know how these guys do it 30 and 40 times a year because I'm at 19 and maybe it's because I'm old, but, and the other things I got going on, I'm kind of tired.
So, why do you, well, let me digress just for 1 second. Let me ask you, I think the percentage, if I was doing the math correct, Big Poppa Smokers or West Coast offense took 70% of calls or something like that. I mean, it was a pretty phenomenal number.
Yeah, it was almost embarrassing, but there were some other great products, and I don't, it's always, but it was really a dream deal for us. I mean, it was outstanding. It was actually 77.3. We had 11% of the field, 22% of the field, 44% of the trophies, and a lot of the money. So that's always great.
All right, so you had broached it just a couple minutes ago before I had to circle back to the West Coast stuff, but talk to me about your season. You've won a tremendous amount. Your batting average has to be one of, if not the best in KCBS this year. And you've had good seasons in years past, no doubt about it. You've had some really big wins in some major competitions. What do you think has bumped you up this year? Has there been any tweak in process or flavor or new technique, or are you just experiencing the good stuff this year?
There's a lot of evolution. We practice lucky. I mean, you have to be lucky in this thing. I mean, it's getting a bad table and hopefully cooking around it. It's not getting the bad table. But we try to be really, really consistent in everything we do. I mean, every piece of meat we cook is weighed, and every process is to the second. And I think I've got like a superb partner in James Perez. And we've been cooking long enough that we can it's really fun in the trailer. But by the way, the new battle wagon.
Sterling, let me ask you, I don't know if we've really gone into any kind of depth about James the Flame Perez or what his genesis with the team is, and he has been cooking chicken very well for you guys. And where do you come up with this guy?
Well, James came to us as a truck driver for the Vans Warped Tour, which is a punk rock summer camp.
Yep.
And Brad and Jody and those guys quit the team, and I needed somebody to drive. And so my HR person said, you can have anybody but James. I said, perfect, I'll take James. Well, he was just supposed to drive and then go to a motel and then come back and drive the stuff away. And he's asking questions. I said, James, you don't have to be here. Next thing I know, he's taking notes. And I show up, and the things he's taking notes, he's actually done. I think James, I don't want to take anything away from anybody else, but we joke that James is the hardest working guy in barbecue. And he's just incredibly kind and fixes other people's equipment if it breaks, and always has a stash of candy. And actually, a secret, he has 2 stashes of candy. And he kind of gives that on it well. But James is conscientious. James is competitive. James is smart. And James and I work really well together. And I honestly, if James quit, I don't know that I'd keep cooking. That's why I bought the new battle wagon that has the El Presidente suite. James got his own bedroom and bath now.
You got to keep the cooks happy, right?
Well, we're both cooks. I mean, it's funny. I hired him as a truck driver, and now, you can never just cook good. I mean, what I hear all the time is just all James recipes and James, and that bothers James. It doesn't bother me. James and I are. I mean, I think that people who have been around us will agree that. I mean, that's a big part of our success. I have to give James a lot of credit.
Sterling Ball joining me here on the show, creator, King of the Smoker, and the Guinea Pig Contests. Also, BigPoppaSmokers.com, the website, talking about Sam's this past weekend and his 2016 competition season. The success this year, Sterling, has afforded you the opportunity to go down to Lynchburg here in a few short weeks and take part in the Jack Daniels. Have you cooked there before?
No. I think I had, 15 bungs before, never got a draw. And it was, I'd said before, it doesn't really matter. Last year when I didn't get it, I said it really matters. And I don't know if that makes a difference, but I decided I really wanted it, and we were fortunate to get 8 bungs. I've been cooking a lot of chicken. I'm about ready to hand it over to James. I think I have what I want to do. But, obviously cooking the big events or majors are fun, just like golf or playoffs in any other sport.
There's a lot of talk when the subject of the Jack is brought up about judging and how diverse or how much of a non-experienced palate division there is. There are some, perhaps the majority are not. There's a lot of people that are classed in the night before the event takes place, which has spawned conversation for years of, well, I'm going to make these kind of tweaks because it's going to satisfy more of a generic palate than a competition palate. Do you believe in or buy into any of that, or are you just going to cook what you've always done?
No, I think you dance with who got you there. And there's another thing talking about the judging. I'm sure it's going to be a little interesting. But look, Darren's won it in the last few years, Pigskin, Tuffy twice. I mean, great teams win the Jack Daniels, so the judging can't be that messed up.
What are you looking forward to, aside from the actual competition itself? What are you looking forward to doing or seeing when you get down to the holler?
Well, it's tough because I don't drink, so I don't know. I'm just looking forward to the camaraderie and the experience. I think it's going to be really fun, and a lot of the teams have been really nice that know I haven't been there before, and so I think it's going to be great.
Sterling, you've won the American Royal. If you win the Jack Daniels, can you delineate between the two? Would one mean more to you than the other, or what?
I think that's getting a little ahead of things.
Nevertheless, I mean, I'm sure you always think about winning all the good ones, right?
Not really.
No?
I don't. A lot of people have different ways of cooking. I mean, some people have an extra gear. Tuffy tells me he's got an extra gear, and I believe that. Because I think, you're talking about Tuffy and Darren, you're talking about huge, big game hunters. There's no secret. They do. I don't have that. I try and stay focused, and I try not to make any stupid decisions inside the trailer.
Sterling Ball joining.
I don't know if you know what that's like, but Greg, sometimes in a trailer you can think something's the smartest thing you ever thought of, and the minute you turn the box in, you go, I could be one of the 2 dumbest men on earth. So I just try not to be myself.
How can it go so wrong in that short a time, where you can correct yourself as soon as you drop a box and you can't get it back?
Well, I think that everybody. Look, I learned something from Todd Johns. Don't give up on the box. I think so much your score happens after it comes off the cooker. How you handle the meat, how you present the meat, how you finish the meat. So, I think those are the decisions you end up making. Where I think there's the opportunity to make the bad decisions.
Sterling, in regards to competitions, KCBS is proposing now, I think it was a year or two ago, there was these 50 points. It got dropped down to 35 points. Now they're going back up potentially to 50 points. Get me up to speed here. Like, why are we wanting to go back to 50 now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not on the board, but what I'd like to see is more data. And, I've seen some data today. David Cole sent me a spreadsheet that was pretty good, but my issue with team of the year is that I don't believe that that you're fixing Team of the Year by playing with bonus points. I think that there's, it's a marathon, and you know that when you go in, but you also, after a certain point, you never lose any points.
Yeah.
So, that's it. It'd be like in Vegas if you could no longer lose if you got to a certain point. So I think there's a lot of different ways they can handle it. The system works, like I said, great teams win Team of the Year, but I think more people could be in the hunt if maybe they looked at some other factors and maybe looked at using data to create team strength instead of just number of teams. I believe in most cases, big contests are more a dilution of judging than they are necessarily an increase in the level of competition.
Are you shocked to see the amount of judging classes there are in 2016, for instance?
Yeah, I think it's insane. And, you're not supposed to say that stuff. I think it's really insane. Having said that, I get my $35 worth because I am a member of KCBS. But, they're cranking out members because it's revenue. But, we don't need 57 classes worth of judges. At least I don't believe we do. And I did participate in a judging class this year, and they're still teaching, raise your hand if you think this is average barbecue. And people would say, yes, this is average. They say, okay, give it a 6. So I'm not sure what they're teaching is matching what happens in the tent. So I would like fewer judging classes, and I'd like the curriculum to match what's going on in the tent.
Would you like to see it mandatory for teams to have to join in order to cook, too? That probably makes sense, right?
Well, I think so, and I think that you'd end up with a different makeup on the board. I think it's too bad you can't get more teams to want to join, but obviously, I think people really thought it was worth $35, they'd all join. So, I don't know. I think that's a big issue. I think that it would be nice to have more cooks represented.
Sterling, outside of competition barbecue and outside of the music stuff, you've been involved with BJ's Restaurant and Brew House for a couple of years now and have really kind of helped them expand or diversify their menu. How's that relationship grown, and how have you found it since your time in there?
Okay. It's really, when I turned 60, I'm 61, I sat down and I said, I'm going to try for whatever time I got left. And, I'm not exactly a picture of health. I'm going to try and see how creative and how good I could be. And so one of the things is BJ's. And the CEO of BJ's, Greg Trojan, is a friend of mine because he used to be the CEO of Guitar Center. And before Guitar Center, he was the CEO of California Pizza Kitchen. And he brought me in to fix the ribs, and they don't have a smoker. So that was interesting. But then I went to an executive tasting, and I didn't like any of the food. And one of the chefs said, well, if you think this is easy, why don't you come in and try it yourself? And the first thing I did was the Mediterranean chicken taco, which is one of their biggest sellers. Just like James Perez, I can't do any of this without Scott Rodriguez, who also has, I got him started cooking. He's got a team called Toot and Stinky, but Scott and I are a great pair in that kitchen, and I think we have, 20 out of the top 25 items right now on the menu. And I have no experience in this, but it's an 8,000 square foot spaceship of a kitchen. It's so beautiful. It was every cook's dream. And I go in there, and I think you had some of the food recently.
Yeah, actually, I had lemon thyme chicken, and I've also had I had the avocado bacon and tomato grilled cheese sandwich, and I love grilled cheese, and it was delicious.
I didn't do those. Did you have the monkey bread pizookie?
Yes.
That was something that Scott and I came up with. That was really fun. Look, I'm having a lot of fun working with Smithfield. And we got some really exciting things that are going to be announced at the American Royal. It's clearly the best company I've worked with. That and Old Hickory and Grizzly too. But Smithfield has been an amazing thing for my team, and I think for barbecue. So I've enjoyed that too.
Sterling, are you surprised that Smithfield has done this well in hitting in their categories this season specifically, I guess?
No, I think it's really great product, and I also think that the real deal is the pumped stuff, the extra tender. And I think Darren was in a magazine, Man Cave magazine, saying first thing you do is don't cook pump ribs, and that was a couple of years ago. But the pump they use is pretty special and works really well for how we actually braise our ribs.
Braise your ribs?
Well, I think we braise everything. I braise my chicken. Basically you get color and smoke, and then you put it in foil and liquid. That's really more braising than barbecuing.
King of the Smoker also going to be happening a little bit later this year. How are things gearing up for that before I let you go and get to Darren?
Unbelievable. It's a Smithfield King of the Smoker, and they've stepped up along with BJ's with a lot of money and money for charity. And it's now at the Westin Mission Hills, which is a tremendous resort. I think it's going to be really exciting. We got some great surprises, and it's there's going to be some new teams because if you look at the top scoring, there's some teams that really have broken out. We haven't done formal endorsements, but invitations, but obviously Blaine and Porky Putz is going to be there, and quite a few.
As time draws near, we'll go ahead and start releasing that information. Do a couple hype-up interviews before we get there.
What we want to do is we're going to wait until after the Jack and the Royal.
Of course, we want to give it its just due.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Sterling
so
Ball.
Listen, am I going over Darren's time at all? Because I don't want to do that.
No, we're going to get out right now, and that'll leave me plenty of time to get to Darren's stuff and all that. But nevertheless, you can go and get all of Sterling's stuff at BigPoppaSmokers.com. And if you have any questions, reach out to him. He's very accessible. And as always, my friend, appreciate the time. Oh, geez. Hold on a second. I've just completely lost it. I appreciate the time and the support of the show.
Hey, congratulations on your rib finish, by the way, in your contest.
Yeah, thanks. It's 7th overall, but I got friends in high places, right?
Maybe Darren will give you some tips.
I'll ask him. All right, thanks. There he is, Sterling Ball, Big Poppa Smokers. Now I just completely jacked up my read. Hold on. Get him. Okay, stop that. Here we go. As luck would have it, Big Poppa Smokers is the one-stop online shop for anyone interested in barbecue and grilling, featuring a comprehensive selection of all American-made grills, spices, sauces, accessories, even a drum kit to get you everything to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Poppa Smokers made a name for itself by winning almost every major barbecue championship, period, with their rubs. They've banded together with fellow California-based rub company Simply Marvelous to form what is known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these two California-based rub makers have cornered the market on competitive barbecue and begun to redefine the flavor profile that these competitive cooks from across the country begun to aim for. They've even created two unique competitions. One I mentioned, King of the Smoker, which brings the best of the best in barbecue head-to-head in a back-to-basics competition. King of the Smoker unique in the fact that contestants can't use electric devices such as pellet cookers or pit minders. Only allowed to use charcoal wood and their wits to win one of the most high-stakes barbecue competitions around. The other one, the Guinea Pig. It's a cost-controlled competition, helps bring in the newcomers, also keep those old-timers into it. Features prize distribution all the way down to 10th place. On top of all of that, they have the BPS Elite Team featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country working together to promote camaraderie, competition, barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind, they've been doing this for 6 years, and it's only the beginning. He's doing dishes for BJ's Restaurant and Brew House, for crying out loud. Nationwide chain. BigPoppaSmokers.com. That's BigPoppaSmokers.com. Stick around for Darren Warth from Iowa Smokey D's. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Lampe.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Unknown Smoker Accessories, purveyor of made in the USA stainless steel barbecue and smoker lid hinges, barbecue hangers, rocket hot chimney grillers, and heavy-duty aluminum foil dispensers. The fine products from Unknown Smoker Accessories keep your gear where it needs to be. At arm's length and ready for battle, visit unknownbbq.com/shop today. That's unknownbbq.com/shop. Enter promo code REMPE for 15% off your entire order. REMPE, 15% off, right? My last guest just added Sam's Club National Barbecue Series overall champ to the slew of awards that the team has already garnered for their illustrious career this past weekend. Here to talk about the win and where it ranks amongst the other big ones is the pitmaster of Iowa Smokies, Darren Warth. Darren, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, Greg. How are you?
I appreciate you gutting out the late night with me this evening, and I won't keep you too long, I promise. So, 6 years of Sam's Club, 6 consecutive national final appearances, and I think for most folks, as long as you and Sherry were doing the Sam series, it probably wasn't a matter of if, it was going to be a matter of when, and it turns out it was this past weekend. The final score, incredible, almost a 7-12, about 8 points better than Justin McCloud. So, pretty dominant as far as scoring goes. Are you surprised to see scores kind of tip that high? And just for perspective, Sterling Ball, who finished in 6th place, would have won every other contest this weekend, holding 2 aside. I mean, that's pretty exceptional scoring, right?
Yeah, it is. When you look at that, in the past, that Sam's Club, they only allow master judges into it. A lot of master judges are judges that have been around for a long time. So, they're kind of working off the old scoring system where they're working off of 9s and come down. So it doesn't really surprise me that the number gets up to 700. It kind of shocks me that we, pulled out a 711 a little bit. I mean, we had a good cook. We had our normal cook. We were happy with everything that went in. But, it's just kind of crazy talk.
You've said, Darren, on the show any number of times that, you guys really enjoy the social part of the competition. Are you able to contradict me at all tonight and say that, on that drive down to Bentonville, you and Sherry were, pressing a little bit and kind of grinding the knuckles and egg timing it a little bit, or was it just kind of business as usual, as always?
Oh, no. We actually went down on Wednesday so that we could kind of get the social effect out of our system on Wednesday and actually Thursday. I mean, I was tired. I was working on about 5 hours of sleep on Wednesday night and, Thursday night. So it was kind of crazy, but, we got that out of the way, and Friday it was down to business, and it was just a normal cook. But, I got to tell you, winning's fun and everything, but it's really about that journey. We had so much fun, whether we were sitting at the bar with the rest of the teams or whether we were out to the Montanay Inn with, 73 other team members out there eating fried chicken. It was great. We had just a great time.
Darren, for the folks that aren't familiar, can you kind of refresh us on your path to Bentonville this season?
Yeah, we started out in Fort Collins, Colorado in a snowstorm in April. We were lucky enough to win Grand Champion there. Then we moved on to the Las Vegas Regional, took 3rd overall. I think Sterling won that contest. So the one thing that's fun about the Sam's Club is we have yet to cook the same local twice. We've ended up in Vegas in the regional twice, but every single year we've started out in a different place, just a different journey.
And that's obviously all done on purpose. Is that something that as the schedule goes out for the 2017 season, which has been guaranteed for next year, that you'll look to do a different local again just to keep it fun and exciting?
Yeah, we will. I mean, if it matches up. I mean, this year really came down to with, because I hate to cook in a Sam's Club local if it conflicts with an existing contest that we have a lot of fun at. I hate to take away from an existing contest, and all of a sudden we found ourselves in Fort Collins, Colorado in April. But we'll take a look at that schedule. We'd really love to get out into the East Coast next year, get out into the Northeast. We've been saying that for 2 or 3 years. We just have yet to get that done.
Darren Warth joining me here on the show, Iowa Smokies pitmaster. So when we look at the results, Darren, perfect 180 in chicken. You got 4th in ribs. You're tied for 1st pork. Tied 7th in brisket. Actually, when you look at the scores, have you ever been involved in a competition where you tied in each category with at least one other team?
I'm not sure in all 4 categories, but I mean, we usually lose tiebreakers. That's our deal. We kind of laugh about it. It just so happens when you lose tiebreakers that at the Sam's Club National Championship. I mean, those are $1,000 tiebreakers. Normally they're $50 ones. So it's kind of crazy that way. I really didn't even know that I had tied in pork actually till this morning. I kind of pulled up. I was doing a little press release thing, and I looked up and just happened to see where I finished. I went, oh, wow, I tied Jeff in pork. That was kind of cool.
From a holistic sense on those meat categories, obviously the 180 is as good as you're going to get. Did you feel every other one was kind of where it was slotted, where the judges were thinking, or did you think you were better than worse than what you ended up getting?
Well, I mean, we knew the chicken was good. The chicken and the brisket have just been phenomenal all year. The brisket doesn't seem to hit, hasn't been hitting near as hard as it has in years past. But, the ribs have been pretty consistent. We've been hanging around that 4th and 5th place, which is fine by me. The big wild card to us has been pork all year. We've got 10 reserve grand champions. You give us a top 10 in pork in every contest, and we win 6 more contests. So the pork's been kind of killing us. And I think Emily's listening, too, from Smithfield. And we switched over to the Smithfield product earlier this year, and we did really well with it. And then we kind of went into a lull on the pork, so we kind of started switching things around, and all the things that I preached to other teams I was not to do, I was kind of doing myself. And I told Emily last week, I said, you know what's going to happen is I can't crack an egg in pork, but what's going to happen is I'm going to get to one of these nationals, whether it's the Sam's, the Royal, the Jack, King of the Smoker, and you watch, I'll get first place in pork.
Boom, you
and
did
what
it.
happened to us? Yeah, boom. And so what happened to us, we're sitting there Friday morning, and I've going in with a plan about what I'm going to do with pork because I've cooked so many different recipes. And finally, I just sitting around with Sterling and Jeff Staney and stuff, and it just came to me that, you just need to go back to what you used to do. And I didn't even have the ingredients. So I'm stealing ingredients out of Sterling's trailer. I'm over at Jeff Staney's trailer stealing ingredients from him to put together my past pork recipe that I had used, really Sterling's recipe, and and put it all together, and boom, we hit in pork. But, one of the things that I did really focused on pork is all year long I've been trying to fill that box up and put as much pork as possible in there. This time I changed my focus back to really what I teach people is only put in great stuff in the box. So it was kind of a mental thing to switch, but it worked.
When do you decide that you have to make a change? I mean, obviously you told us about the national lead up here on the pork this time around, but I guess for a lot of people that aren't really steeped into the competition side of things, and when you have a pitmaster your stature on this kind of a show, people always want a nugget here or there. When do you decide as an Iowa Smokey D's pitmaster that something isn't right? It's been X amount of time. We don't feel the scores where they need to be, so we're going to start making a change. And how much of a change do you make when you decide it's time to do that?
Well, I mean, really what I always preach is you take 4 contests. If I get 4 contests and I'm outside the top 10, I'm going to tweak something. You're never going to see me, if I'm hitting 9th in brisket, I'm not going to change that recipe trying to get to first to brisket. And I think that's what a lot of teams make the mistake of doing is, they try and better themselves in a category. If you're hitting top 10, you just keep kicking. You just keep hitting in that category. Leave it alone because you know what? The luck of the table is going to take you over the top at some point.
Darren Warth joining me here on the show talking about the Big Sam's win this past weekend. Darren, you're probably one of the only few teams that I can ask where this big win stacks up against a Jack win, an American Royal win, a Kingsford Invitational win. The list goes on, but, at the end of the day, are they like children and you love each one the same and they just look a little different, or because contests aren't human beings, no surprise, you're able to rank the titles in some kind of a personal order for you and Sherry?
Well, I mean, everyone is different. Everyone's exciting. I love the tournament style that the Sam's Club puts on. The American Royal, just the mass amount of people being on that stage. The Jack Daniels is like no other. I kind of list it at the top, even though I'm not sure that's the most prestigious contest from a competition standpoint because there is a lot of luck as far as the draw who gets into the Jack. But being on that stage just sends chills down my back. Now, The other one, the king of the smoker. You're dealing with the best of the best. Okay, so that's a huge, huge honor there. But out of all of them, as I go into the future, I really want to be back on that stage at Houston Livestock. I mean, it is like no other. You're 20 foot in the air, looking over 50,000 people. I mean, it is truly, even though their presentation of the awards isn't great, just that feeling of being up there and being an Iowa boy in Texas and being on that stage is awesome.
Darren, let's play Sophie's Choice just for a second because I'm an incredible dick. If you had to give one of the majors back, they're all in the pond there, and you can reach, however many, except one. Which one are you going to let roll down the lake?
Oh, boy, I don't give any back.
No, that's not the question.
I really don't give it, because what was so important to me at the Sam's Club this weekend, what I was really focused on was that completed my Grand Slam. It was like winning the World Series, the Super Bowl, the Masters. That completed my Grand Slam of there, and nobody else has done that in the world.
The team's cooking Smithfield pork, in the ribs. Obviously, you're well known for is it Smitty or your buddy Smitty the rack of ribs that's journeying around with you all season. Stereotypically, enhanced ribs are considered to be kind of hammy in taste, but the proof is in the pudding, right? Or the scoring. Week after week, teams using Smithfield seem to be doing very well. Is it an unfair stigma to attach that enhanced rib taste to product that's out there now, and you're obviously doing very well with it?
Yeah, I think that's the difference with the Smithfield, is that it's not the hammy. And I've tried enhanced ribs in the back, and I was listening to Sterling earlier, and you can go back to a Man Cave article I wrote, a couple of years ago that said, do not cook enhanced meat. And the guys that run my smokers in the restaurant, they laugh at me. And they're going, well, what happened? You used to get our pork here, and now all of a sudden, you get the Smithfield stuff. What's going on? Why do you get this enhanced? You told us we couldn't do that. And what happens is it's not hammy, though. If I go to some of the other competitors and try and cook that stuff, I get that hammy. But with the Smithfield, they just have that formula down. It's just the right percentage. It's not crazy over the top, but it doesn't come across that way. But it's really forgiving, and that's what I love about the product is you can make a mistake, and you can let it go over a degree or under a degree, and you're still fine. It's just very forgiving. It's very juicy. I just love the product. If I didn't love the product, I wouldn't be out on the national stage promoting it.
It seems in a sport that has gotten so specialized in the meat department, it's a little refreshing to know you can actually go to like a Walmart, grab a $10 rack of ribs or one of the pork shoulders, and know you're not at a disadvantage right out of the gate because it's not one of these other specialized type of meats, right?
Well, that's exactly right. It's making affordable, and we talk about how do we make barbecue affordable, because these trailers keep getting bigger and bigger, and we lose people every year because it's an expensive sport, and unless you can score on those national stages, you really can't make money at this deal.
You had made mention in your Sam's interview right after it was over that perhaps the only thing left for Team Iowa Smokey D's was Memphis in May. However, I think if we go back in the annals of this show, you've said on any number of specific occasions you have no interest in doing that. So now that you've kind of said it out loud after the Sam's, is that something that you guys might go for and complete a whole new Grand Slam that you haven't thought about?
Well, I can say we're talking about it a lot more. I haven't convinced. I'm not much of the show and tell guy. That's the one thing I don't like about it. I like the different formats, like when we won the Sonny's Invitational earlier in the year and an FBA contest. That was really cool. There was something that we hadn't done before. And this year we cooked a couple IBCA contests, which is a nice challenge. Same type format, but you're dealing with half chickens and spare ribs. And it was just a lot of fun. And we've had a lot of fun playing around, doing different things. So, Memphis, I don't know. I don't think those guys have to be too worried, but, I think at some point in our career, we're just going to have to do it and say, let's see how this happens.
Could I make $1 billion if I came up with pre-trimmed meats to market to the competition barbecue circuit? That's all I ever see about on Facebook is the bitching of doing all this stuff leading up to a competition.
Well, I've been using the KC competition meats, a lot of the year now, and I'm not sure Keith's making millions off of it. It causes issues because teams, they don't all want it trimmed the same way. It's tough. I love the way he trims stuff. I've went to a point that ever since halfway through the year, I never touch a piece of meat until I get to a contest. And I used to be never, ever leave. I would never leave for the national championship not knowing everything was perfect before I left my restaurant. And I went in there and I started trimming, Saturday or Friday morning at 9:00.
Will this be the year in 2017 that Iowa Smokey D starts giving cooking classes?
No.
No?
Just ask anybody. Ask my wife. I have no class.
But aside from that, like you've never thought about it? Well, you've never really entertained it seriously to do a class or anything like that?
I really haven't. And I tell you why. I look at a lot of cooks that have been very successful and have went out and started cooking, started giving classes. And it's great money. And you go out and do the money, and what happens? You start getting beat by your students every week. And it's just really not an interest. I give classes every week. People walk up to my trailer and say, hey, I need help with this. And I'm not going to tell them everything, but I give them nice little hints. Hey, have you tried this? Have you tried this? I think we've got the entire state of Wisconsin cooking Smithfield ribs now. It's just an exciting thing to be able to help out and give back to barbecue. But it's not that I want to do anything formal from a cooking standpoint. I really don't have time.
He has added Sam's Club National Champion to the notch in the belt. It's Darren Warth, Iowa Smokey D's. Darren, congratulations again. Also to Sherry for the big win this past weekend. And can't think of another team that is so well liked by so many other competitors. And I wish you nothing but continued success, my friend. We'll talk again soon.
Okay, thank you.
You got it. There he is. Darren Warth, Iowa Smokey D's, burning the midnight oil for this show, which I certainly appreciate. And 2016 Sam's Club champ. There you go. He did it. All right, gang, if you're like me, you're thinking of ways to step up the barbecue and grilling game. No better or easier way than doing a little Butcher Barbecue shopping at butcherbbq.com. They have it all, right? They have the grilling oils, which I'm using all the time now. I love the grilling oils. Here's what I say. If you're going to go to butcherbbq.com tonight and you can't think of just one thing to buy or you can't whittle it down, do the grilling oil. You'll be happy. You have the sweet barbecue sauce, which I absolutely love. You have the standby rubs, which is the honey rub and that steak and brisket rub. Also, you have the new line of rubs, the chipotle, the cherry, the pecan, the private blend, and the standby products. The beef injection, the bird booster, the pork injection, the prime injection. Come on now, man. You have to know. If you go to butcherbbq.com, you're going to get some of the best products that are out there on the market today. And how many teams do you know that are using one or four or all of Dave's products in their camps? More than you think. More than you think. So here's what you do. You go to butcherbbq.com and you fill up that cart with all of the great products that Dave has, and then you'll thank me later. ButcherBBQ.com. That's ButcherBBQ.com. We're back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, wrapping it up. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Ray Lampe at the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. After that, we talked with Mike McCloud, MMA Creative, Sam's Club recap, and a look ahead to the World Food Championships in Orange Beach, Alabama. Then in the second hour, Sterling Ball, BigPoppaSmokers.com, and the 2016 Sam's Club National Barbecue Series overall grand champ, Darren Warth, Iowa Smokey D's, iowasmokeyds.com, if you want to check him out. Big show already next week. I say that each and every week, but I'm not kidding. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Hi, this is Bobby Rempe from Cleveland, Ohio.